Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's April 5th, 2020. I'm over in the work area. The last several days I've been working out in the western garden plot. Now the western garden plot is the perennial gardens, and this last year about this time is when I made a decision to put lots of hardwood cuttings into that garden area in the hopes of creating lots of perennial berry producing plants that I could hopefully sell and all. With this current infectious disease process that's going on, I've had minimal sales, and so those buds are about to emerge on each one of those berry plants, and they all did extremely well. Really nice root systems on the plants. So what I decided to do was to go ahead and dig those up day by day, dig up one bed at a time, and then pot them up as well. And so I have some old pots that we've been saving for years, and I have some soil. It's not the compost that we've been using, but it's a combination of the large trucks that dropped off the leaves last fall, and when I was burying the pots from that I was going to overwinter in the fall time. Now most of those plants did pretty well. Some of the blueberries I've got to look at and see how they actually look. But many of those plants did well, so I uncovered all of those plants and I took all the extra leaf material that I had, mixed it in with some of the broken down wood chips and all, and let that stirred that up a bit with the mini excavator. And I've been using that material and some of the broken down wood chip material to pot up a lot of these plants. So what I thought I'd do is take you outside and we can look at the area that I've been working on. And oh, here's what have I been using to label. Now inside here in our pots and all, I've been using these little white plastic, show up against my shirt here, white plastic plant labels, and I've used those for a while. I've used pencil, I've used all different markers and all, but they always tend to wear out. In other words, whatever I write on them tends to disappear within a year's time. And these are the plant labels. I buy them in bulk. Some of these you just tear them off, and these are the ones you find in your plant store. A lot of people will run these through a type of printer. I imagine they're like a laser printer, and they print off their labels. One of the things I saw was this black wax pen that I got the idea from watching Sean from Edible Acres. I just happened to watch one of his videos and he was talking about marking his plants, and I've had all kinds of problems over the years. Now we do write on our aluminum tags and embed in it, in other words make an impression with it, but Thea's handwriting is much neater than mine, and I can write out on the labels. The only thing I don't like about it, it's not a very fine point since it's a waxed end, but supposedly this is going to last a really long time. So I'm looking forward to these labels working out. So I pot them up, then I use these labels here, labeled them, put one on each plant. I still have a lot more to do, but I thought I'd show you what we got. So I'm going to put my helmet cam on with the GoPro camera and we'll take a walk outside. Hopefully it's not too windy for this. Here we go. Okay, we're over here in the western garden bed and garden beds, the western garden plot, and we had all of our grapevines and elderberry plants in this area here. I had some elderberry plants right over in here as well, and here I had lots of what did I have here? I had some hosta berries here. I had red currants on this side and black currants on that side. I still have a few more black currants to get out from over there. Here I've got, let me see, I've got a couple of different currants here. I have to try and sort each one out here. And I think, yeah, so I've got some a couple of gooseberries here as well. So I have to get these ones out and get potted up, but I'm just about done with this area because And there's a lot of excess root material from some of these hardwood cuttings. They really took off in here with the watering. So I think one of the things I will end up doing, if I can keep this dry enough, I think I will till the area up some, which I don't like doing if you've been watching this channel for a while. These are the two blueberry beds, and they're double rowed here, but I lost quite a few of them, and they haven't leafed out yet. So I want to go ahead and just make 3 rows instead of 2 double rows. Hopefully I'll have enough for 3 rows in here. We'll see how well that works out. And over here is where all the honeyberries are. You can see here's one. They're just about ready to leaf out now. And this is where I'm doing some mounding and stooling of these ones. I started off with 4 last year, and I've got 25 or 30 of them in here now. I still have some pruning to do, a lot of dress-up work. But my plan is once I get the blueberries in their locations, I'll go ahead and weed mat this area so I'm not spending time working in the area as well. So I still have these ones to get out. Now we'll walk over to the other side of the coop and the work area greenhouse, and we'll go over to the area where the potted plants are. So I thought I'd show you this first before I show you this area here. So down along this row here, you may remember a lot of the black locust trees along in here, and I've got some more pruning to do for these black locust trees. But since I had so many really large, very large elderberry plants with big root structures, I went ahead, dug down in between each and every one of these black locust trees and buried some of the elderberry bushes. And so they're all down this whole path, all the way down, and it goes beyond the tree line down there further. But that'll give me more of a nice living fence in this area. And we'll see. I am trying to propagate from some of the seeds, just using stratification, no scarification on it. Often you have to do a scarification on the black locust seeds, but I did a stratification over the winter months, and we'll see how that bed is. I'll make a video on that pretty soon. But let's go down here and look at the potted plants. I had gone ahead and gotten a whole bunch of the bare root plants up. I had a couple of people coming from different places and all, got them all set, and unfortunately they never showed up. Over in the far side are lots of the overwintered plants over in there, so you can see lots of thornless blackberry bushes, pink champagne currants. Here's a hostaberry right here in front of us, right there. Some of the pussy willows over here. A few of the red raspberry bushes, and then here, the closest row to us right here are all hostaberries. Let's see. And what do we have there? So some more hostaberries. I got lots of red currants in here as well. So lots of blackberries, pink currants, red currants, and hostaberries all along in here. And I pruned them back, and all of the prunings that I took, and I really had to cut back the roots. The roots are really extensive in many of these plants. So I cut back the roots, and so that and cut off the tops quite a bit, and they'll usually take right off. And you see what the broken down wood chips actually look like here at this point. This mixed with some of the leaf mulch all together came out and turns out pretty good for breaking this down. A lot of black currants in the background over there, and I'll get to these pretty soon. And there are some blueberries in here, blueberry bushes in here that I'm going to, and more pink currants all along in here. And I'll make a video. I made a video last fall about the almonds, the chestnuts, the peach trees, the black walnuts, quite a few different plants here. So I've got to get all of these buckets out soon. Now, these are the holy buckets that have all the 5/16 inch drilled holes in them. So I've got to get those out and get them in their air pruning beds, like the rest of the beds we got over there. And over here is some of the leaf mulch and wood chips mixed together. And that gives you an idea of what this material actually looks like. And for, now I wouldn't use this for vegetable soil, but it does work out pretty nicely for our perennial bushes and all of our berry producing bushes. That works out pretty darn well. Well, let's head back in. Okay, so around in here I have some of the some red currant hardwood cuttings. Of course, lots of hardwood cuttings from fig trees. All our citrus, our potted fig trees, some rooted, and some cuttings of some of the gooseberries. Over here is more hosta berries over here. In here we have bald cypress and asparagus down in this area here. Hopefully, camera showing the area. Now these are all this winter's or early spring's hardwood cuttings from the fig trees there. And over here are all the hardwood cuttings from last season. So some of these I've got to separate out. They're all in compost and all will take off like crazy. And of course all our potted fig trees. I really had hoped to sell some of these, but we'll see what happens. And some of the rooted, these are some of the variegated flamingo, pink, white, and green a type of willow plant that turn into a big bushy plant as well. So that and the pussy willows will go into some more living fences. And in the future, lots of these berry bushes will be all different varieties of the berry bushes in our living fences as well. So let's go back. Well, that's our little walkabout, taking all those plants that were in the western garden plot that from previous videos you've seen all the plants there, especially with me digging up the elderberry plants and all. Quite a bit of work involved in getting all of those hardwood cuttings in. One thing I would say that I've learned from this experience, like I did 3 rows or 2 rows. 2 rows of elderberries is just too much in a 30-inch bed. And I did put them probably 6 to 8 inches apart. It was just nuts. They grew like crazy and did really, really well. But you know, it's just too densely packed in there if you're going to let them get to the size that I let them get to. In other words, a whole season. The hosta berries, they worked out very good spacing, about 8 inches or 10 inches apart. Same thing with the gooseberries. The currants, I'd say the pink and the red the pink are the least vigorous root development. The red are an intermediate amount of root growth development, and the blacks are like crazy. That they grow not nearly as much as the elderberry plants, but they do put a lot of roots on. Enough where I'd have to cut off, you know, getting them into the pots, probably between 6 and 12 inches off of the root mass to get them into the pot so that they aren't swirling around in the pots. And so it's a lot of work doing that stuff, and I'd hoped to sell a lot. Oh well, it isn't going to work out that way. And I don't have the areas developed yet because I'd be worrying about if I get them into the ground before I have the site prepped in the food forest, then I'm just encouraging more quackgrass to move in or bindweed to move into the area, and then those plants will be competing with those nutrient resources as well. So I have quite a bit more work to do before I can get these through. So these may go through all this coming summer and next winter over there, and that's why I'm digging down just like I did with the other pots and getting them down so the root crown of the root inside of the pots is at ground level. So it'll have some of the thermal mass and the insulation of the surrounding area as well. And in the fall time, if I've got to overwinter them, I'll be putting leaf mulch over the top of them, most likely. So if you have any comments about the things that you've seen in today's video, please let me know down below. I may add some video of me digging out some of these plants during the process. Some of it will be time-lapse. I may add a little bit of me potting them up as well, so you can see some of that process. But it's just boring, tedious, and time consuming. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And certainly folks, stay safe, remember social distancing, and eat healthy, take good care of yourselves. And think about putting in some plants for yourself for future years as well. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.